The gentleman in the video I'm about ready to show you is a Republican candidate for Attorney General in the state of Texas.
Texas is Trump country, right? They want a conservative fighter that will back up the president and make sure that we use every resource and tool to advance his conservative agenda in Texas. And not just that, put Texas first and defeat the left. That's the goal in this office. That is always number one. You always have to look at Chip Roy's record, right? He's retreating from Washington, D.C. He's treating Texas like a backup plan. He's also a lawmaker who can't really show us any laws that he's made. So that's a real problem. And this is about results as well. Proven conservative results. That is the distinction in this race.
Roy said, quote, "You're a trust fund kid who has never been in a courtroom, never practiced law, never prosecuted a bad guy, never been in the AG's office," basically implying that you're not qualified. What's your response to that?
Well, number one, I am a practicing attorney in oil and gas law. And this is Texas, by the way, Jack. So I think it's ridiculous for someone to say that practicing oil and gas law in Texas is not practicing law. That's what this is about, is that proven conservative record. And Chip's a D.C. insider, right? He's retreating from D.C. He brought millions of dollars from his federal account into his state campaign for attorney general. I take nothing from this job. I'm only here to serve and fight for the conservative values that we believe.
So the very first thing I'm going to do is cuss this gentleman out for making me defend Chip Roy. Chip Roy has gotten legislation passed, including extraordinarily conservative legislation. He was a key sponsor of the SAVE Act, the PAUSE Act, and the CARE as a Terrorist Organization Act. Yeah, he's gotten stuff passed. Not stuff that I wanted passed, but he has gotten stuff passed. So right off the bat, this gentleman who is going after Chip Roy, because they're both vying for the Republican nomination to be Texas Attorney General, right off the bat, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's lying to you when he says you can't look at Chip Roy's record and see a single law that he's passed. I mean, the SAVE Act, for fuck's sake, is one of his sponsored bills. He's on it. But I regress. Chip Roy famously stood on the floor of Congress and said, not to his Democratic opponents, but to his Republican allies, can anybody, this was back in the last midterms, my apologies. I think it was the last or the second to last midterms. He said to his Republican allies, his Republican colleagues, can any of you point to any legislation that we've actually passed for the people? We've investigated a bunch of people. We've gotten no indictments or convictions or jail time from any of those investigations. But can any of you actually name any legislation that we've passed? He's been begging the Republican majority to pass legislation in Congress so that he can go back to his district and say, this is what we've done for you. But more to the point, at the beginning of this interview, you said that the number one thing for the Texas Attorney General's office is to defeat the left. Seems to me the number one thing would be to uphold the law. You're vying to be the Attorney General, right? Is that no longer the job of the Attorney General? Is it just to focus on whatever the left is doing? It's very reminiscent of when the Republicans said that their number one priority, their only priority in Congress was to make sure that Barack Obama was a one-term president. Shouldn't you be focused on upholding the law for the people of Texas? You said, as a matter of fact, you said that the top priorities of the Attorney General's office should be to defeat the left. You said that was number one, and to adhere to or further push Trump's agenda. I didn't hear anywhere in there that you're going to be looking out for the people of Texas, that you're going to be looking out for the constituents that you want to vote for you. You guys truly are in a cult, aren't you? Whatever Donnie says, that's my job. As Attorney General of Texas, whatever Donnie says is my job. Amazing.